Alright, what's up, guys? Today I'm just gonna get into the digital SAT. Normally, I would have basically what I'm gonna do is the normal research that I would normally the research that I would normally do. I'm going to just do it and share my thoughts out loud, and maybe even take notes on it um, while so you're gonna just basically see me research it. It's a reaction video slash a research video, a research stream. I'm gonna be doing that because I have taken a skim through it before. I've looked through it before, but you know, it's not 100%. Like my opinions aren't 100% settled. Although my gut reaction when I first saw it was like, man, this is definitely a step backwards. This is like not good. So. Right now, I'm just going to be researching it. In fact, I should update my little description over here to make sure that everyone knows this. Huh? Where's my shortcuts are not working. Shortcuts, please work. So annoying. Okay. So let me actually update my little sidebar description. Just researching and saying whatever. Okay, so that's me. All right, I'm gonna now open up some windows over here. So let me see, what do I want to look at, right? Maybe this blog, maybe this works. The FAQ, maybe maybe the FAQ is good. I have read some of these things before, so I think I'll be happy with this. By the way, if any of you have taken the digital SAT in school, and you know, I think you probably have to do this anonymously, but if you want to share your thoughts, I'm happy to have you on stream where you can just like let me know what you thought about the digital SAT. Okay. Actually, in fact, I'm going to put that into the sidebar real quick. And reacting. I gotta fix this. There we go. All right, so digital SAT. Let me pull this up now. So I'm gonna get into the very, 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 very basic. Like, why did you? I don't really. What's this useless survey? Okay. So I'm gonna go through these in order. Okay, I'm gonna start with the very basic, the official College Board descriptions. Oh, you can actually start registering now. That's interesting. So let me see if that's any different. What? Would the fees be any different by any chance? Right? No, it's not, right? Oh. Okay, well, I'm just gonna skip all this. Poems. They added poems? I didn't see that in the previous versions. So I personally am philosophical. I personally think, by the way, that the digital SAT is actually making. Oh, that was a drop by $5. I didn't know that. Thank you for that clarification. I think it's a worse test in terms, the reading test is the worst test, and the writing test, oh, the writing is basically the same. But the reading test is definitely a worse test in terms of anybody who wants to be prepared for college reading. I mean, the kind of reading you have to do in college is kind of like what the current SAT is. And so I'm actually really upset that the reading has become so simplified. But I'm very curious to hear what you guys think. Also, my sidebar here is like super broken. So I'm just like, what's going on here? Like, what is going on? Okay, I'm just gonna fix that real quick. All right, I'm just gonna. All right, let's. I think that's simpler. So that's my sidebar, and now poems being in there. I'm not against it, but I don't know. Like poems, if you're gonna get rid of all the other reading, like the real reading of like actual long passages, then I think poems does make some sense in terms of purely testing your ability to parse sentences and figure out what it might mean. But depends on the kind of poems that are coming out. It really depends. Like I think I would strongly prefer like older poems where the grammar is a little dense, and then we can at least confirm that you can actually break down the sentence and understand the meaning. Because that's the only way you're going to test someone's reading comprehension. If you're not going to give them a long passage, how are you going to, you have to somehow figure out like who is better at reading, right? And just because you're an international student doesn't mean that you can't be really freaking good at reading. You want to be really good at reading if you want an 800. Like if you want an 800, you have to be very, very good at reading, including very, very difficult grammar. So poetry is actually a great way of testing that, and I didn't see that in my initial sort of review of the materials. So it's kind of interesting that they added that. All right, let's see this other stuff here. So it got $5 cheaper. They added some poems. Interesting. Also, maybe I should open up my Rome research real quick. Give me a sec. Here. Let me open up, let me bring my notes in. Oof. Okay, what's today? Notes on Okay, I'm gonna move this right now. I have something on my desktop which is being moved to my iPad now. Okay, there we go. Okay, just gonna move this around a little bit so it's a little easier. Okay, so you should be able to see both my screens whenever I move back and forth. Oh my God, so annoying. The iPad connection is so sketchy. Okay. Ugh, so frustrating. It's like frustrating. All right, sorry guys. It's very annoying, very annoying. Okay, so anyway, I had a problem with the connection to my iPad, and my connection to iPad then crashed my streaming software, which then, sorry guys, I'm back. Anyway, had to make that work. Brew, why you do this to me? Why you do this? Guys, sorry, I'm poor. I'm just, you know what I'm gonna do? Because sometimes when it's like this, I just need to restart my iPad. So, I want to keep using my iPad because that way you can at least see my mouse, and that makes a huge change on the streaming experience. When I make more money, I'll buy a separate monitor for streaming. Okay, because it's really awkward to show you my main monitor, because that's where I'm doing all where I'm doing my monitoring of things. So I use my iPad mini as my second screen. But the the Mac. I have a very modern Mac. Somehow fails to use my iPad as a like my iPad Mini fails to be a monitor at times. So this happens. Anyway, let me deal with this annoying technical issue. But I saw a question. Will the strategies change? Is the same scoring system? So first, I think the digital SAT might be a step forward in terms of many areas, actually, in terms of score processing, in terms of anti-cheating measures, in terms of, just like reducing the amount of stress during the day, in terms of, and maybe even in terms of just writing and math, the quality of the questions might get better. But I do think it is a step backwards for reading. I'm pretty sure, I feel like it's a step backwards for reading. It's gonna feel like a weird middle ground between the old SAT, the one that I took when I was in high school, the pre-2016 SAT, and then the current SAT. The current SAT I actually really like. I don't know if my high school self would have liked it that much, but as a teacher, I really like the current SAT because it's really about real reading. Like you have to read if you want to get better. And the digital SATs, there's no reading. There's no real reading. It's just this minor bit of very compressed passages. And so it's going to be a lot more like the old SAT in terms of, the passages themselves will be different from the old SATs, the pre-2016 SATs, but to me, it looks like it's going to be a lot like the old SATs in terms of you have to be able to parse like really condensed logic. And that's the way that they're going to differentiate the really good readers from the bad readers. But oof, that's going to be tough, man. I don't like that. I don't like that direction of reading. Reading, you have to give them full passages, dude. Like if you want to see how they collect the information and organize it in their heads, you have to give them a full passage. And yeah, I strongly disagree with it, but we'll see what happens. Will the strategies change for the reading? Definitely. I don't know about writing. Writing too, it'll change because my whole thing about the writing strategy is read. That was my whole strategy. My strategy was read. But yeah, so the reading and the writing will definitely change. The math presumably won't change because it's the same, I assume. But I don't know. I'm not a math person. I'm not a math tutor, so I don't know. And then the scoring system's the same, except the reading and the writing are now smushed into one test. So I guess that's a difference. But yeah, we'll see. I'm actually gonna do some more research. Like literally, I'll be doing the research right now with you guys. I'm gonna be doing the research live, and then whenever I find something that's interesting to comment on, I will comment on it. But if anybody here has taken the digital SAT, I'm very, very happy to have you on stream. If you want to come into Discord and actually chat about it, I'm very happy to have you on stream. I think it'd be fun. Now let me just make sure that I can get my Windows to work in iOS, or iPad OS, I guess is what they call it. Let me make this work. Okay, now we have Sidecar, which should be working, and bam, you should be able to see it. There we go. You've heard people say digital SAT is way easier and the curve is apparently terrible. I can see, especially in the early phase, because it was easy. The one that I saw, it was like, I didn't actually take. So there was a student on Discord anonymously who shared a screen share and kind of flipped through the test for me. I didn't actually take it, but it looked easy, and for the right reading especially. And I'm like, dude, how are you gonna differentiate the really good readers? Like, are we just gonna go for the happy middle now? Like, what's going on? Like, how are you gonna differentiate the top 0.01% from the 0.1% and the 0.1% from the 1.1%, right? Like, you do need to still differentiate them. At some, like, academics is, like, as in all things in life, actually, not just academics, in sports, in music, in art, in sales, in community building, in politicking, whatever, there's people who stand out, and everyone. And this, by the way, extends to you guys. You have to figure out the thing in your life that you are in the top 1% of. Like, it might not be academics, right? So what is it for you? What is the thing that you are just like way better and way more naturally built for it compared to other people? That's your mission. That's your calling in life. Well, what if your calling in life is academic, right? And then this SAT is going to become a more blunt and more imprecise tool for you? That sounds sucky. I mean, you should have hard questions and hard readings. Hard readings! Anyway, so I don't like the idea that it's getting easier. It does seem like it's getting easier, as far as I can tell. I'll give you probably in an hour or two. I'll have a more refined opinion. But right now, my gut reaction from the preliminary research I did, it's I don't know. I'm skeptical. Now let's look at. You know what? Let's start with the YouTube video because I think that makes it easier to just process some of the basic big picture. So here, let me make sure that you guys can hear the audio. Just double check.
And I lead the
Yes, you can hear the audio. My audio, my voice is a little louder than the video, so that's good. And let me put my earphones in so that you don't hear an echo. Give me a sec. And I'm gonna up the speed to 1.5. Okay, 1.5, and we have this. Okay, here we go. Ooh, come on, audio. Okay, iPad, please stop breaking. Oh. Okay, sidecar broke again, and also I got shocked. Very annoying. I think sidecar broke because of the because I guess I plugged my AirPods in. Okay. I want to stop getting shocked by my freaking devices. Okay. Okay, I apologize, guys. I'm just, my iPad's usually not this finicky, but today it's just nonsense. Okay. The promise of machines that all communicate with each other and conspire to kill us. That is my dream. I want to have machines that are so well coordinated that they could kill us. And I could just stream something, while I'm dying. Here we go. Go.
To be the best possible option. Hi, I'm Priscilla Rodriguez, and I lead the SAT team at College
Hello,
Board.
Priscilla.
At a time when many colleges have made submitting, I lead the SAT
Vice President of the Assessments
team at College Board. At a time when many colleges have made submitting a test score optional, we want the SAT to be the best possible option for students. That's why, beginning in 2023...
That's interesting. Part of the reason why the digital SAT exists is because of this bullshit political play by the University of California and all the other universities, including Harvard, to pretend like it doesn't matter, like a test that actually correlates with the IQ doesn't matter for academics. And so the SAT needs to compete on a new playing field where now there's people who don't think they need to take the SAT, so it's becoming easier, quote unquote, to draw more people. I don't think anyone said this so far on YouTube, as far as I can tell. But that's what it sounds like. It sounds like it's a reaction to a financial imperative to have people sign up for the SAT. Because people are signing up for the SAT in far fewer numbers, presumably because SAT it has become an optional requirement. An optional requirement. That's like a that's a oxymoron, but has become optional for most colleges. I guess you can't really fight against the stream, right? You got to run with it. So I think this is the right business move to make from a nonprofit standpoint. Oh, on that. So I think that will. You have that. You have that. I think that will definitely. That means that that means the SAT has to be easier structurally, no matter what. There's no way around it because that is the imperative from a operational standpoint. The College Board must make it easier so that more people sign up for it. Unless they want to just accept that they're going to lose, many students who are not going to take it anymore because they think it's not important because the because the colleges are saying it. Okay, it's sort of an ugly situation altogether.
Of assessments digitally. When students take the digital SAT, it won't simply be a digital version of the current paper.
Okay, hang on. This is obvious stuff. 2.2.
Test. It will be a better, more flexible test that's easier to take, easier to give, more secure, and more relevant. So
Yes.
The digital SAT will still measure the knowledge and skills that students are learning in high school and that matter most for college and career readiness. Scores will still be on a 1,600-point scale, and students will continue to take the test at school or at a test center, not at home. Every student will still have access to free practice resources on Khan Academy, and the test will continue to connect students directly to important scholarship opportunities. So what is changing and when? The digital SAT will be offered internationally first in March of 2023, and then in the US in March of 2024. And all PSAT assessments will be administered digitally starting in the fall of 2023. So here is what is changing. Students will take the test on a laptop.
The fall of 2023. So I guess a whole year from now? But hasn't I guess the current PSAT is still paper?
Or tablet.
Okay.
They do a lot of their learning.
I actually got confused. I actually thought the current PSATs were already switching to digital. We'll see.
The test will be shorter, going from 3 hours to 2, and reading a lot of their learning. Students will take the test on a laptop or tablet, where they already do a lot of their learning. The test will be shorter, going from 3 hours to 2, and reading passages will be shorter, and math questions will be less wordy.
Math questions will be less wordy, and the reading class questions will be shorter. Okay, and part of the reason, it's interesting why the math. So math being less wordy is probably going to make people happier, but from an educator standpoint, if you're like a Harvard student or if you're like an MIT student, I actually think you benefit from those wordy questions on math because it shows that you can process the information very, very quickly. Now that said, the math is far too easy for an MIT student. I think the math test should generally be harder, so that you can differentiate. Like too many people get 800s, right? You should be able to differentiate a little bit more between people who are good at math or not. Maybe not. Who knows? Maybe the SAT is not a good measure for math. Maybe the college. I guess all universities have to use other measures for math abilities if they really want to test the geniuses. And there's plenty of other measures for math, I guess. But so I'm not going to comment too much on the math side. But going back to the reading and the writing. Writing, there's no real, the passages are like sentences now, or a couple sentences, and the reading is also just a couple sentences. The test has to be easier so that more people want to sign up for it, so that they get assessed, so that they send these assessments to the College Board and to their admissions offices, and then the admissions offices use it as data. I guess some data is better than no data, but now the quality of the data of the SAT, I feel like it's going to drop. It's just not going to be as good data, and that's especially on the reading. Okay, I'm going to continue.
Students will be able to use calculators on the entire math section, and scores will be delivered in
Yeah.
And to serve even more students, SAT score reports will also connect students to information on local two-year colleges and workforce training programs. We've already begun piloting the new test with students, both in U.S. and international test centers, to hear what they think about these changes. Here's what students who participated in the recent pilot had to say.
I guess one of the single biggest improvements with the digital SAT version would be how the questions are.
I really want to know the opinion of somebody who was already getting 1550 or above. I personally want to know those students' opinions because they're going to be different. I also really want to know the opinion of people who are already going to get, let's say you're already a National Merit Scholar, or qualifying, whatever, NMSQ, whatever, right? Let's say you already got National Merit in your 9th or 10th grade, and let's say you're you're from a poor family, that your family makes less than, I don't know, $10,000, $15,000 per year. I want to know what you think about the digital SAT because you're a very different group. You're a very different group from kids who don't really like. You're a very different group from what I think the College Board may be targeting. The College Board may be targeting the kids who are looking at these test optional policies of the universities that they're applying to and being like, I guess I don't have to take it. And so College Board needs their business, quote unquote. And so they're reaching out to these kids. But if you were poor, if you were making if your family makes less than $15,000, $20,000 a year, for example, to feed like 4 mouths, and you're a national merit scholar, like, does this benefit you? Does the digital SAT feel like an improvement for you? I want to know. Let me know. Okay, keep going. Wouldn't an easier? So it might not cause inflation if it's still based on the curve. It probably will not cause inflation, but instead what will happen is you'll get severely punished for every single mistake that you make. So then when they start, so this is the sort of weird lose-lose situation. If you make the actual test easier to get a perfect score on, then more people will get fewer errors. When people get fewer errors, then the curve becomes more brutal. So as soon as you make one error, you become highly sensitive. Your score jumps a lot because of that one error. When your score jumps a lot because of every one error, then kids who start studying for the SAT realizes that every single error counts. And so they start getting extremely tense about it, and they become hyper-neurotic about every single question to avoid every single error, okay? And then when that happens, the SAT prep books will come swooping in and trying to like sell you these sort of these like goods of like how to master your errors. Okay, and then when that happens, the College Board will realize that their test is too easy. So, but then the formatting of the test is super easy because now you don't have to read long passages. So what are the options that are remaining to them? They're gonna make every single question extremely hard. Not every single question, but they're gonna make the hard questions extremely hard. Like, and you're only reading 2 or 3 sentences, and you have to understand 2 or 3 extremely hard sentences now, because that's the only way that all the stupid College Board, like all the Princeton Review and Barron's and whatever's, all the kids who are trained up on all those skills are only you're going to be able to filter out the kids who have sort of fake knowledge from the kids who have real knowledge. How? By having extremely hard questions. And when you have extremely hard questions, finally, then the curve will start normalizing, and only the and only like the really and you'll no longer have like thousands of kids getting 800s. Now you'll start having some differentiation, and then the curve will become less extreme. So then what you'll end up with is basically now this is a bunch of prognostication. Who knows what'll actually happen? But this is pretty clear to me. It's pretty clear to me that that's one obvious way that this could flow, because the formatting of the test is much easier, but now the hard questions are going to become extremely hard. I don't know. I think that's the only way it can go forward, personally. Into account. I don't know what that means, but I'm going to keep moving.
Questions are formatted.
It was shorter, it made sense, it got straight to the point, and we were able to answer the questions. National test centers to hear what they think about these changes. Here's what students who participated in the recent pilot had to say.
I guess one of the single biggest improvements with the digital SAT version would be how the questions are formatted.
It was shorter, it made sense, it got straight to the point, and we were able to answer the questions, analyze and answer the questions.
On the pilot SAT, check it.
I think a college professor would actually love it if their students were tested on how well they could understand difficult questions, because college problem sets, guys, are not easy. Like, literally understanding the question in the college problem set is half the work a lot of times. I took calculus honors and physics honors in UChicago. Just understanding what you're working with is like half of the work. Like, it is. That's the problem. It's the wrong direction. And now right now I'm focusing on the math side of things. But anyway, is this college preparedness? I don't know if it is. I think this is actually a step backwards for college preparedness. It might be a step forward though for at least getting more kids to take the SAT.
Checking was way easier. Having it online digitally is more convenient. You can like easily switch between questions, and all the tools are provided, like calculators built in.
Everything was always downloaded.
The tools that are provided, calculators built in, that feels like it was kind of fed to him as a line almost. Now I believe that the student probably just said it as a thing, but like having the tool of the calculator built in might be fine. But I find that most of these test makers aren't very good software developers or interface designers, I mean. So a lot of times these tools are pretty janky to use and they're very annoying to use in real time. But maybe they'll just give you a hell of time just to compensate for their crappy interface design. These guys usually are not the Apple of interface design. They're not really like HCI masters from my experience. I've seen some past digital tests and they were not good. So I'm a little skeptical about these tools.
Downloaded and ready to go. Like as soon as you walk in the door, it tells you like where everything is, where the calculator is, where the a sheet is for formulas. There's like a little clock in the corner that you can always refer to. You know exactly how much time you have left, and you can better manage your time.
SAT was much shorter, and the questions were
Although I think having the clock not being a physical analog clock is a definite improvement, guys. Like looking at like the stupid the hour hand and the second hand or minute hand and like trying to calculate how much time is remaining. I think that is a little bit antiquated. I think in my day it was natural to have to make those calculations on the fly, but these days all clocks are digital anyway, so I think we can move on from that one.
were a lot more concise and straightforward. As we take the test digital, we've been really focused on students' access to technology. Students will be able to use their own device or a device in their school, but if a student doesn't have a device, we'll provide one in testing. And if your Wi-Fi drops or your computer dies during a test, we've designed the digital SAT so you can just plug back in, reconnect, and you won't lose any time or work. But you might be wondering, why does the SAT matter at all if it's now optional in most colleges? First, most students say they want the option to submit their scores to colleges. That's because the SAT continues to open doors for students of all backgrounds. I know firsthand because I was one of those students. As a daughter of immigrants, the SAT gave me access to colleges, scholarships, and educational opportunities I never would have had access to or even known about. And that is true for so
That's
many
correct.
students. In fact, in the class of 2020, nearly 1.7 million students had SAT scores that would strengthen their college application. And among those 1.7 million students, more than 300,000 were from small towns and rural communities, 600,000 were first generation, and more than 700,000 were African American and Latino.
These are the target demographics, and this is really important. It's really important that people who don't really have this sort of within the family sort of in-house knowledge about how the world works. It's like if you are a first generation immigrant, you need to like learn how the world works, and your parents will not always know how this new world works. You know, they know how their world works, which is their immigrant world out of their previous home, and but like you need to learn how this world works, and it's not going to be within the house. The SAT does provide a lot of help, like identifying resources for you. You know, because when I became National Merit Scholar, or whatever it's called, when I became a National Merit dude, I started getting a lot of mail, and that helped me learn about, oh, I'm this hot. I didn't know that. Like, I just did not. I didn't really know how the world worked. So it's really, really helpful.
The SAT continues to play a vital role in college admission. Today, there are 25,000 high schools in the U.S., and colleges can't possibly know each of those high schools and every student in them. And grading policies can vary at these different high schools. In 2021, 55% of U.S. students graduated high school with an A average.
Yes, that's so funny.
So to consider every student fairly, colleges look at much more than just grades. Yet other parts of college applications, things like clubs, sports, and academic activities, can be costly and inaccessible for many families. The SAT, by contrast, is widely available to millions of students to help them stand out on their applications. And most students take the SAT for free in their school during the school day. We are working to ensure the SAT will continue to open doors for even more students. Students take the SAT to show what they know and what they can do, and to be seen by colleges. The digital SAT will be an even better way for them to do just that.
So I think the argument here, and I think the argument here for the College Board is that the SAT is going to serve more communities because is going to serve underserved communities because they might be confused by these colleges' test optional policies that it's maybe not worth it to take the SAT and show these colleges their SAT scores. But because the SAT is no longer as difficult seeming, these underserved communities, these students in these underserved communities may still go ahead and take the SAT, which will definitely help them on their college applications. And by the way, I think for most kids, if you are from an underserved community and you're just sort of like, you're not from like a New England background where you've had multiple generations of like Ivy League, like Ivy League alumni, either within your family or just around your family, like you don't really know, right? I think generally speaking, having an SAT score that kind of matches or exceeds your GPA is just, it's always going to help, because your school grading policies might not be very trustworthy to the college admissions offices, like who knows how you got those grades, like, it depends. There's so many factors, but the SAT is standardized. It's great because it's standardized. So it gives your application a sheen of objectivity, like, oh, that's a thing that this student got, that's a number that we know. I mean, it's only one number, so it's not everything, but it's a something, right? It's better to have it than not to have it. And so I think all students benefit from that. And I think that's a feat. I think within the context of the test optional world, I understand why the College Board is going this way, and I buy that argument. I think the difference between the College Board is that the College Board is focusing on everybody, whereas I'm focusing, for my YouTube channel, for just like my professional activities, I tend to focus more on the kids who are high achievers. I mean, you're the kind of kids who look up the SAT on YouTube. You're highly motivated, and you wanna do better, and so you're different from the vast majority, right? You guys are kids who are spending time on YouTube with me. That's weird. You guys are weird. You guys are not normal. And so for you guys, I tend to think it's actually beneficial for the SAT to have more difficult questions, right? So that even if it's more psychologically challenging, you guys can master that. You guys can overcome that. And through the overcoming of that psychological challenge, you can kind of demonstrate that you are, you're growing, and that you're more than that. You're more than some standardized tests, right? And by doing that, you can improve your score, but then also just like move on to other parts of your life that are more meaningful for you. And I'm just here to help you do that. And it actually becomes a more meaningful challenge the more difficult the SAT is, but and meaningfully difficult, not just like unnecessarily difficult on stupid measures like arcane grammatical rules from the past. Like, we don't need to get tested on that, but like usefully, meaningfully difficult tests, that feels like it actually is a meaningful challenge for you. I think that's better, and that's not the way it seems like the SAT is going. So I think that's the compare and contrast between what the College Board is looking at and what I'm looking at. Yes, we're weird. I wonder why YouTube recommended me to you slip, but Oh, EK, by the way, I didn't really answer your earlier question, but will the ACT also go digital? I literally do not know. ACT digital. It's already dual. Yeah, you already have two choices. Okay, that's the end of that video. The main thing I learned from this video is that comments are turned off, of course, because College Board doesn't have kids like to bitch about the College Board, really. So that's basically why. That's that. Yeah, I would say the main thing I learned from this video is that is kind of like the reasoning, the argument for why they're basically making it easier. They're making it easier. They're making it easier because they want more kids to take it. They want more kids to take it because fewer kids are taking it. Fewer kids are taking it because colleges are going test optional. And because the current SAT feels like people will take the path of least resistance, right? So the college board, like before, if the college board would, if the college admissions offices would force you to take the test, then the path of least resistance is to take the test. Because if you're gonna not to do the test, now you're gonna stand out too much, you're not even getting to college. So you're gonna take the test. But now if the colleges no longer force you to take the test, then the path of least resistance is to not take the test, unless the test seems kind of easy, but the test doesn't seem easy, so make the test easier. Okay, so, and then make it the path of least resistance. If you do any sort of like, electrical engineering, by the way, of any, electricity will always find the easiest way to make a circuit, so it's like that, right? Just create an easier path, which is make the SAT easier, quote unquote. All right, well, let's look at this. I saw all this. Can I do a practice test through this now? Can I download this? So annoying. Okay, guys, I'm gonna fix my iPad connection. While also trying to download this Blue Book thing. Okay, let's see if this... Okay, iPad connection should now work. I'm trying to download the Blue Book. Let me fix this up. Oops, did not mean to do that. Why is that not working? Okay, and now I'm gonna look at this approved devices, borrowing device, what to expect on test day. You're logged into the Wi-Fi, you open the Blue Book, you answer questions only about procedure, not about content, obviously. You get a code, and you'll get tracked, your time gets tracked for you. I mean, each section has 2 modules. Each module is timed separately, reading and writing and math. You can move back and forth. Once you've moved on from the module itself, you can't go back. When the test is over, your answers are automatically submitted. So you should be done right away. You can basically stand up right away, so that's nice. All right, good luck with your network, by the way. Zoom in and out using keyboard shortcuts on laptops or by pinching on tablets. Wow. Amazing UI. Okay. 1 10-minute break between the sections. You'll be done before noon. Because you get scratch paper, which is nice. So you need to be able to have 3 hours of battery. So hopefully you don't have an extremely old device. Okay. Yep. Phones are no good. That's kind of boring. I did not really need to read that. So I assume I don't really need to watch this, but I'll
Get ready
just
for the
do
digital
it.
SAT. If you're taking the test on a weekend, here's how it will work. Before
I'm gonna do
test day, you'll
3.1
download the
speed.
onto an approved laptop or tablet. If you're testing on a school managed device, you may need to ask someone at your school to complete this step for you. Before test day, open up Google.
Yeah, don't need to watch this. So I'm gonna move on. Practice and preparation. Start. Can we practice right now? Seriously? Seriously? I don't remember. What? I don't remember this. Who announced this? No one announced this. Did anyone announce this? Okay. Oh. So that's a whole thing I could do today. Wait, this is gonna be a different stream. Guys, I'm gonna do this as a different stream. Oh. Nice. I did not know these came out. I guess I can go outside the US. Brew. We got practice. Studying and practicing, setting a target score. I don't remember this, but okay. Maybe I should read these. But I'm kind of bored with the official stuff. So I think that covers most of the official stuff. International testing. What's on the SAT? I guess I could go into that, but okay, I'm gonna keep these full-length practice tests. I'm gonna keep these 2 tabs for later. Okay, I don't know why I need to sign in. Don't know what this is for, so I'm gonna turn that off. Okay, frequently asked questions. You can start registering now, actually. Fall 2022, we have full-length practice tests. Yep. That's really good, by the way. More secure, unique test forms. That's really good. Kind of wish we had QASs, though, that we can actually review, but still. This is a weird way of answering it, but basically, this seems like a roundabout way. Honestly, I think the real reason is reduce cheating and reduce overhead, because international administrations are way more overhead, way more to manage. I assume it's just way more complex, and so the digitizing it just makes it much easier to do it that way. I'm sure it's an operational thing. This seems like a nonsense reason. Yeah, that makes sense. Spring of 2024. Is it 1 hour each? How can the test be an hour shorter but still measure the same things just as effectively? I mean, this is sort of more PR sort of PREs. I don't. It doesn't seem like super sound, but I mean, but fundamentally, it's fine. You can be shorter and still test the same thing, because the actual implementation is just two subsections, like two phases within the test, and it seems a little. It's not that adaptive. It's only minorly adaptive. So, I don't know. Also, that does affect from a background standpoint, like from a pure, just sort of statistical thing. Like, since you're not giving everyone the same questions, when you make these when you make these curves and they're not even based on the same questions, it's going to be statistically more complex to develop a fair curve. It's going to be way less intuitive for like students to understand like how it's fair, because there could be a lot of statistical shenanigans that kind of go under the radar, and we're just going to have to trust their curve, because there's no way they're going to show their algorithm, their formulas for how they came up with the curve. So if you're a little conspiratorial, that might not be a very good, you might not really like that about the SAT. You're not even taking the same questions anymore, but you're getting graded on the same scale, on the same administration. I wonder how that works. Boring. Tools, a flag question, a countdown clock, a calculator, a reference sheet for common formulas. Yeah, this is pretty broad because, will they use it in the same way? Of course they'll use it in the same way, but will they weight it the same amount? I assume not, especially if you're trying to aim at the top like 10 schools. I assume that the SAT scores will still, like the median SAT score will still stay high and everything for those schools, but like they might just weight it a little less because they're gonna have to see how. They're gonna basically take a wait and see approach, like how informative is this test for us, They're probably doing a lot of requests to College Board on the research. They're gonna want a lot of research from the College Board to make sure that this test is actually useful for admissions, from an admissions standpoint. And I think it's gonna be less, like compared to the current SAT, I think it'll be less useful to the college admissions board offices. Like college admissions offices will find this to be an easier test, a more like it won't prove the things as well. It might still correlate with IQ at least, but it won't really necessarily prove like college level reading as well, I suspect. And so as a result, I think the weighting on these things will get on the standardized test will get lower. But at a macro level, more students will still be taking the SAT. Hopefully, that's the goal. So since more of them are taking the SAT, and more of them are submitting the SAT scores, at a macro level there should be more data. But the quality of data, I think, the quality of the data and the weighting of that data might drop. Okay. Let me fix this again. Oh, okay, that's a little faster than before. Okay, that broke again. Just breaking constantly. You know, fun times with Mac OS and iPad OS. You know what? I'm gonna disconnect my AirPods. No, I'm not, because that'll make it more confusing. Okay. Oh my God! For the love of God. Okay, I'm gonna disconnect my AirPods. I think my AirPods being connected at the same time as my iPad is what's causing the problem. Okay, so it should be better now. All right. So, Miracle level, more students, more applicants should be taking and submitting SAT scores. Macro level, net good. Micro level, quality of the score as data itself may drop, and which drops the weighting of the score altogether. Yeah, I guess there's no real way around this unless colleges commit to standardized. They kind of brought it on themselves. The colleges are bringing this on themselves. They're kind of forcing the College Board to move to a simpler test, to compete with the choice of not even submitting a test altogether. So, yeah. Overall, getting a high score is harder or the same? I mean, statistically speaking, it should be the same. Statistically speaking, it should be the same in the sense that if they calibrated their curve where only 0.1% of students get 800s, then hey, statistically it'll still be 0.1% of students getting the 800. Okay, it's actually not 0.1. I think it's like 0.03 or something. I don't remember, but whatever. Okay, that part will be the same, but the difficulty, getting the high score is harder, can be answered yes or no depending on what you mean by harder. It's definitely going to be harder in terms of, if the test overall is easier, it's definitely going to be harder in terms of not making mistakes. It's going to be much more sensitive to mistakes. So if you make a single mistake, your scale may the curve may be very brutal, and it may jump you down 20 points, 30 points just because of one single mistake. And it's possible that it's going to be that way for a while until the College Board sort of self-corrects. But in terms of getting the higher score, it might be easier for you maybe if you're better at math and you're not very good at reading. You might still get a higher score overall. Because the skills that are being tested in this new version is no longer the same skills that are being tested in the previous version. So that really depends on you. I would say, though, statistically, at the end, though, you still need to be in the top 0.03% of performers to get 800. So just be really smart. You just have to be really smart no matter what, and and that'll improve your score. Okay, let's go back to this. Also, it's really good Yeah, I also, in terms of countering cheating, but I feel like the QAS is actually going to get. I feel like the QAS is going to go. I feel like the QAS is going to get worse. Okay, let's keep going. We expect that it will maintain strong reliability and predictive validity. We expect it. I'm curious about these studies. 2022 validity study examining. Okay, let's look for this validity. Actually, we have this thing over here. SAT 2022 validity digital study. Let's look for this. Hey, what is this?
Thank you, everybody. My name is, and I will let you know this is we're working with Keisha Smith and Adrian Tucker online. Adrian's going to take you through the presentation. And we also have Bernstein works. So, and yes, this is being recorded and will be posted to the State Department of Education website.
So we have this. So in terms of how you know, I get inside for your little testing. As just CI is we we're going to our mobile application reviews and some people like you you're doing. And so
Okay, this is a technical presentation for the schools themselves.
so we also we support.
Okay, this is about more of the operational experience of how to make it happen.
And then this is how
Okay, yeah.
At the end of the slide deck, you can access basically everything you access for digital testing.
Using not just
What is this? What is this?
So the fact that the student has the IP does not
They're just talking
the
now.
preferred name in the digital test
Oh, what's preferred name?
option. I would need to look into that. I mean, I know we talked about stuff, but if there was an issue, I don't know if that came up in NGSS as well, but okay, so there's a question about PSAT 89, maybe Keisha should follow up on that one. Are the Saturday SATs paper pencil or digital? There's no chance of that, paper pen.
No, it's okay. I'm done with this. I want to know about validity studies. Ooh, what's this? What's this? I think that's Indian. Where's the validity studies? Okay, no validity studies. Hang on, let me do quotation marks to see if I can find this. Ooh, what's this? That's the 2019 though. I want the 2021. The 2022 one. I want the one from this year. Validity of the SAT. Pretend first year grades. Oh, hang on. What's this? What? Oh, this is a different research. It's not from the College Board. So I am actually curious about that. All right, I'm gonna look at all these later. But anyway, that's gonna get a little intense. So let me just stop there for now. And let me make a note. Validity. How it's structured. Let's go here. I've already seen it, but I wanna get the rough. 64 minutes. Very awkward, but sure. That's very awkward, but sure, whatever. Why didn't they just? Okay. 2 equal length modules. 20, 30. Okay. Compared to the SAT, the ACT, the SAT is going to still be slower paced. So that still remains the same. 54 questions and 44 questions. Oh, nice. For math, it's primarily for entering. Ah, yes. Now, actually, I'm highly for math and actually for grammar too. I really wish we could kind of just move towards this because like this would so break like Barron's and like all of the stupid multiple all the stupid multiple choice like strategies that are wasting your time because you're spending all these time learning these tricks that don't actually increase your knowledge or increase your skills. It's just this one-off random meaningless arbitrary skill that you learn for the SAT only. It's a one-off thing, right? You can kind of undercut all of it by just getting rid of the multiple choice format altogether, which is interesting. I never thought about that, but that's interesting. Yeah, this is actually really good. Multiple choice format for math primarily rely on input, direct input, not multiple choice. This is very good, and I wish they'd do it for. Like for writing, it's pretty easy to be like, hey, add a comma, and then you have to add a comma. like, for writing, that's the only one. Comma, that's kind of lame though. But yeah, I guess for writing, you kind of have to stay multiple choice, right? There's only for commas and only for punctuation is it easy to do for your response. Give me a second, guys. 1 second. Okay. All right, reading and writing section. 2 modules, 150 words, passages, literature, history, social studies, humanities, science. I like how humanities is a separate thing now. That's interesting. I wonder how that's different. Also, history and social studies as one thing is also kind of whatever. We'll see. I'll look at this and I'll do that in a separate stream when I actually go through the actual test, the practice tests. It's the same thing. Oh, actually, it's not the same thing. Craft and structure, cool. That sounds kind of AP Langy, which I applaud. Information and ideas, that vaguely sounds AP Langy. And then standard English convention, expression ideas is, I think, the same as the previous one. But these are so broad as to be meaningless. So this is, it doesn't really mean that much, but kind of just by looking at it, I kind of like the craft and structure and information and ideas one, but we have to see, we have to see what it means. Here, actually, I'm going to write this. Four domains. Comprehension, vocabulary, analysis, synthesis, and reasoning skills. Use and understand, use high utility words. Okay. Phrases in context, cool. Rhetorical purpose, cool. And connections, or for me, like continuities and clashes. Okay. That's all bundled into one big thing called craft and structure. That's super huge. I guess, but sure, structure, I guess, is kind of, okay, information, ideas, and also interpret, evaluate. Okay, so this is more of the data breakdown and actually comprehension. Okay. I mean, it's they're categories for category's sake. 'Paper-based combinations on test day paired with the non-adaptive tests 1 to 4. Okay, so I can at least go through those. So we have 4 of those at least. So, all right, I will definitely go through those in a different thing. I'm just kind of curious at a broad level about the math, so I'm gonna look at it. I'm gonna look at the overview only. %30 are in context. Sure. I guess the most important thing is that you have to produce your own responses, right? 75%. Oh, it's still 75%? Come on. It made it sound like that thing, made it sound like it was like majority was free response or SPR, whatever they call it. Boo. Still 75% is multiple choice. Okay. And okay, not super interesting anymore. So getting out of this, because we could just look at, honestly for this part, we could just look at an actual practice test. It'd be faster to get through that. Okay, so nothing else too interesting on this, huh? Help center, students, what's that? Pricing. Practice. I mean, we already said all this, right? So, sample tests. Ooh, question bank. Ah, teachers. I want this. I want this, but I won't not get it. I want it. I want it. Do people not say boo anymore? I say boo. I am people. I am the people. Wait, what? Or a full length. Huh. You'll need to sign in to access the full-length digital and to link your account with Khan Academy. You can, without an account including linear, and okay, I see. Sure, I hope that means I'm included. There's gonna be a course, so I might as well do that course. Okay, I hope they don't cut me out of this. That'd be very annoying. Don't need to know this. Scores and reporting. Total scores, section score, score comparison, percentile rankings, cool. Progress towards established benchmarks, what the hell is that? Knowledge and skills on contents to help focus the practice to improve their score. Links to practice resources, okay. Boo boo boo. Professionals and educators. I want to know. No, I want to know. I want to know. Take challenges courses, that's correct. Take the PSAT, that's correct. I want to know where the research is, bros. I'm kind of curious what their answer is here. The College Board supports. I want to know what these discussions are. I really do. Because why? But I haven't really gotten really in, like knee deep into these discussions. But it just seems silly. But I guess, you know, I am looking at a specific slice of society and a specific slice of colleges. I'm not looking at the whole picture. So I am kind of curious what the whole picture is. I'm not going to pretend that I know the whole picture. I did find that this is pretty interesting. But obviously, everyone wants the option. Like 82% of course wants the option. The question is, how many percent think that it's good, right? But still. This is such obtuse data. It's impossible to like know what they mean with this data. Boilerplate. I want something more important. Let's look at test security and fairness. Might as well. Ooh, let's look at this. We'll continue, okay, in our efforts, we work to strike a balance between preventing anyone and providing testing opportunities. Okay, we've enacted measures like these, providing the names of test prep companies and individuals we suspect of stealing and receiving secure content to law enforcement and other government, well, yeah, okay, sure. That's always a thing, I assume. Prohibiting individuals from taking the thing when they, okay. Working with colleges to explore, inform them, sure. Increasing the audits, you know, this is very vague. Kind of wish you had numbers here, okay. See, if you don't have numbers, this is nonsense. By the way, guys, just a link back to your college applications. When you write activities, when you write all the stuff, like you participated in holding an event. Well, how big was this event? Was there 3 people? Were there 3 people at this event? you organize an event for 3 people. I mean, good job, clap, clap, clap. But 3 people, it's not that interesting. If you hide the numbers, it doesn't mean anything. You can increase the test center audits worldwide from 1 to 2. That's not very meaningful. Making it easier, that's pretty broad. And this is also affecting me, by the way. This prevents me from taking the test. Now I can only take the test 3 times per year. It's kind of annoying, honestly. But whatever. I understand why they're doing it, and I'm not against it. You know, I just wish they would just do more QAS. I just really wish they would just do more QAS. Just do more QAS, guys. But they're going the opposite direction. They're going to do less QAS, I feel like. Yeah, I'm not too interested in all this. Okay, so I'm done with this. FAQ. Please share. I want to know. Students are doing more digital. And you know what? The big thing that's missing here is also test optional. Colleges are going test optional, and as a result, you're losing your revenue. So you need more revenue. Scratch paper. Okay, not very useful. Moving on. Now I have a bunch of links to validity studies. So let me just look at this real quick. Oh, I'll look at this general thing that I've already basically answered. Okay, this is very, very broad, so skipping that. So we have these practice tests over here that I left open. Then we have this thing, for the 2019 study over here that I can kind of briefly look at. And then after that, we had that other study. Where's the other study? This is the other study. This is not the other study. This is the other study. So we'll look at these three in order. But then let me just get through these two easy ones first. Lucky students are lucky. I'm not sure if they consider themselves lucky, but sure. Technology is good, feel less stressed. I mean, this is just a PR thing, but the reading is different. Oh my God. Duh, because it's easier. Oh my God. Of course, it's easier. If you get bored of a paragraph, the reason you're bored of a paragraph because you lost track of what the point was. If you do not lose track of what the point was, and if you are intellectually curious, the paragraphs are not boring anymore. You don't zone out. The whole point of you learning to read, the whole point of the reading test is to see if you zone out or not. Zoning out is the opposite of reading, right? And it's a skill to know how not to zone out. Anyway, of course they prefer easier things. If I go to a diet clinic and I'm like, hey everyone, ice cream time. Like, of course everyone's happy. You know, like, God, it's just so annoying. So annoying. So annoying. All right, moving on. Of course, students are happy when it's easier. Oh my God, this is just a silly PR piece. All right, it just makes everything sound good. All right, I'm gonna move on. Advertorial. So this is. I think the Economic Times is an Indian. Okay, yes, it is. It's kind of interesting English here that I'm not. What is an advertorial? I'm just like, what is this? Like, what's that mean? Oh, it's an I just never even knew that. Okay. It's an advertisement. Oh, it's an advertisement of a test prep company. Scholarly. Scholarly? India? Wow, this site is not optimized. Holy crap. Oh, whoa, whoa, responsive. Dude, please, responsive design, guys. Oh, man. Oh, oh my God, I was traumatized by that site. Holy crap. Dude, I'm not going to go into that site. I dare not go into that site right now. Responsive design, guys, please. Sure. I mean, whatever. Whatever. It's not interesting. Okay. I can stream for about 15 more minutes, so I want to see what I can do about this study. Ooh, conduct it? I can conduct my own study? If I'm a university? Sure. How did they do this in 2019? I'm kind of, Wait, no data, huh? Oh, there is data in the PDF. I assume this PDF is the same as this PDF. It is. Okay. 15% more predictive power above grades alone, which is natural. That makes sense to me. Hang on, what's the... Oh, this is the summary and this is the full report. I see. What? Where's the full report? Can I get the full report, please? What? I'm confused. All right. Well, this is 29 pages, so that means there's stuff to read. Okay, there's tables. Cool, tables. Okay, I can come back to this in a bit. Because obviously this is a puff piece. But now let's look at 2019. Oh, this is from the College Board. This is from the College Board. So, actually, I want to see Google Scholar. This is, hang on, this is by Westrick. Hang on, what was the previous one? Over here by Westrick. Wait, what? This is Westrick. So this is the Westrick one. And I'm looking for non-Westrick. And this one is by the government? Oh, but this is way back when, 2009. Since 2021, I guess. Yeah, I actually forgot to reply to this earlier, but zoning out definitely gets impacted if you have personal interest in the thing that you're reading. And the best way to increase your personal interest in the thing that you're reading is to read very broadly in your school life. But obviously that's not an easy thing to do in the last 2 months leading up to a test. So you need to learn how to kind of fake it, like fake an interest, even though you don't have one. And the way to do that is by understanding genre conventions, but this whole thing that I'm teaching is going to go totally out the window as soon as the new SAT comes in. Because the digital SAT is going to care very little about genre conventions because there's going to be no more structure to these long passages anymore. So it's going to be short passages. At best, it's going to be dual passages, and they're both short. This sounds like a puff piece, but let's look at this. Scoring, the next frontier of fairness and accessibility for digital assessments. W3C, okay. Hang on. Okay, we're just doing an overview of the actual digitization. This might be interesting. This is a statistical study it's talking about the actual statistics. Yeah, there's going to be no data yet. It's all going to be College Board data. Okay, this is just like literally a copy paste of all their FAQs. The laziest. Okay. Methodology, and hang on, let's look at this. Retention the second year, retention with first year grade point average. So those are the two primary sections, GPA and second year retention. And retention analysis sample and population institutional characteristics, student characteristics, and descriptive statistics for measured interest. D sounds interesting. Let's look at the participating institutions first. Page 23, here we go. Who participated? Okay, not Harvard. Not Dartmouth. Stanford did. Yale? No, not Yale. How about Chicago? Chicago did not. Princeton? Probably not. Almost certainly not. Yeah, Princeton did not. How about Berkeley? California? Yeah, the UC system, they participated. Oh, look. Anonymous institutions. Yeah, that's probably some of the... they probably did participate, these schools. I see. I assume the anonymous ones are the name zone, the name brand ones, but it's hard to know, right? MIT? Did MIT participate openly? Kind of wish these schools would. Shh. I mean, it's more interesting if we have the Ivy Leagues here. Kind of want to know. Okay, back to the summary. Well, duh, they help to differentiate, but 15% predictive power, so statistics, which I never really properly studied, is a den of lies, so we have to be careful with these things. Yes, they did start focusing on knowledge, which was a big change in the SAT. Wait, so this is the old one. This is the old one. So we're waiting until 20, we're waiting for the current study to come out. There's not a pilot study yet? Okay. So there's no study yet. This is the old one. That took me forever to figure out. That's annoying. Okay. Where's the PDF that kind of explains, where's the PDF that explains the digital SAT? There's like a thing. I saw this PDF before, but I couldn't find it today. Resources? The Digital SAT Suite overview. Maybe it's that one. Webinar for international students. Higher ed professionals. That's kind of interesting, actually. What? This is not what I was looking for. What happened to that other PDF? For I'm like lazy now. This is for the higher ed. Should I just log into this? This might be interesting. Okay, maybe I'll do that later. For international educators.
So, good morning. Let me also take this opportunity to wish you a very happy and prosperous year of the Tiger. Next slide, please. In the time that we have with you today, I am very excited to share more with you on a transition to a digital SAT suite of assessments which started working on last week.
Trends. I'm interested in the trends.
Or about the transition to digital. We just asked, it looks like I want to take this time to answer your questions. So please feel free to use the Q&A box to ask any questions that you may have. The line to share the work according to the change from May to August of 2020. And once we were able to restart our administration in August of 2020, we put in a full set of health and safety protocols in place, which reduced acid and many of our.
Okay, this thing is blocking what I'm saying. If I do this, I think the captions will be less intrusive.
Yes.
Oops. Also, I'm going to drop this to 2.0 speed. 2.0 speed. 1,500 test centers. 188. Minus 12%.
Test centers across 188 different countries and territories. This is 12% fewer tests at 88 different countries. Graduated last year at some point during our secondary school experience, which represents a 25% decline relative to pre-pandemic. So far, both SAT are enrolled 32. And all educators like yourself. We didn't get into the details of last week's event, and I'm going to take a moment to address that. Next slide, please. ACT continues to play a vital role in the holistic admission process. You can look at that as
Guys, the key thing here is if you're an international student, wide variations in curricular standards and grading systems and course offerings makes the SAT very important for you, okay? Your school is not the same as the next person's school. The schools are so different that it's hard to tell from an admissions standpoint, like how reliable the data is for your school. Schools that have been established and have been around for a long time and has been sending students to America for a long time, they develop a sort of reputation in the admissions offices, so then they become as legible, okay, as an American school. Like when I see a counselor recommendation, when I see a teacher recommendation from this school, I can trust it because we've established a relationship for a long time, right? And this also happens to some extent, obviously, in America as well. But in international schools, the distance and everything, it just makes it makes it even more critical that you need to, like, if your school isn't that reputable, or if the school is going to be kind of a complete unknown to the schools, to the colleges that you're applying to, the SAT score becomes very important.
Within the context of where a student lives and learns, test scores can affirm student grades or demonstrate their strength beyond their secondary school grades may show. It's approximately 200 countries and more than 80 other.
Not just the SAT, by the way. I just mean objective measures of your accomplishment. They become very, very important.
When we think about the number of schools within these 200 countries and territories that students can come from, and the wide variation, it becomes even more.
Yeah. Just saying exactly what I just said.
Universities in 80 other countries around the world where the SAT is accepted, more universities have indeed introduced greater flexibility in their admissions process in light of the pandemic. But it's important to remember that it's not everybody, and so there are still universities that do require that students. And even when submitted with shown that test scores can strengthen their application. So next slide, please. For example, in the class of 2020, nearly 90% of international students had SAT scores that confirmed or exceeded their secondary school GPA. And for those who are the first in their family to go on to university, more than 85% had SAT scores that confirmed or exceeded their secondary school grades. Really, again, strengthening the student application when they send those to universities that they're interested in attending. And students recognize the opportunity that the SAT provides to them. When surveyed, 83% of colleges.
Okay.
So I'm going to start with the timing. Beginning in March of 2023, we will begin to.
This is the transition. We've talked to whom? International counselors, higher ed, college admissions, enrollment test coordinators. Okay, sure. Yeah, sure, whatever.
SAT. Maybe I received and responded to similar and in 2023, we will between now and March of 2023.
Okay, not super important.
For all students.
We've already seen all this before. I've already seen all this before.
They can plug it in. Again, I would choose an outlet.
Okay.
Before I end the presentation, the late form in the first module.
Hang on.
The digital SAT practice materials to content. At that time, we will also have full and practice.
2.5 speed. And I gotta go soon, guys.
So that students can get that full, supposed to be like SAT experience while practicing. And we will share more information about all of these practice resources when we're ready to go. We'll share more on of the SAT every single year that students can select from. So those administrations are going to be over November and December. So plenty of opportunity.
Oh, nice. You're gonna, in international, you're gonna be able to take it every single time.
Yeah.
Another question that came up was, how can the test be an hour shorter but still match?
Oh my god, they're just feeding in FAQ questions.
If you are currently a SAT test center, with the change to the transition to SAT
capacity and reimbursement for things like PowerPoints and adapting into this new modality. If you're a test,
in the spring or earlier months in the year, which I'm
probably the last something I've seen.
as early as possible to help with that.
Okay. I'm pretty much pooped out. I learned everything I think I can learn. So the main thing is now to actually look at the format of the thing. And I will do that in a separate stream. I will take a practice test. I will sign up for everything and do all the sort of logistical bits before the stream, and then I will take a practice test and see what happens. Oh, so guys, that was my research stream. My opinion remains the same, but it has changed. My central opinion remains the same, but now I have additional context around that opinion. I see why the College Board has to make an easier test. It's probably a financial and a business imperative that they have to make an easier test because colleges are marketing this BS idea that the test scores don't really matter. And so now many students are thinking maybe they don't have to take the test score. And it's actually a good move by the College Board, not just from a purely financial or business standpoint, but it's a good move for us at a societal standpoint for the College Board to be like, okay, we're going to make the test easier, more accessible, less tiresome, everything. Just, hey, student, you're burned out by the SAT. You don't want to study for it. Hey, look, it's only 2 hours now. Take it. It's going to be faster. Take it. Also, it's not going to be as hard. You don't have to read a whole history passage anymore. Just take it, right? And that's kind of the sell. And I think at a macro level, that's definitely that's a benefit for society. We get more data, and with better data, you get matched to better schools that are more appropriate for you and everything. And you also develop a sense that you can actually improve on these things, that English is not some arbitrary thing that some teacher decides what good English or bad is. It's not, there's actual skills involved in English, and the SAT is one of the ways to improve those skills. So, I think a net's as good for society, but it is a net negative if you are an extremely high performer. If you're an extremely high performer, I don't think the SAT is going to be as useful for you anymore. So you're going to need to somehow find other ways to diversify your portfolio and to diversify the range of objective sources to validate the kind of person that you are for the college admissions offices. You still want to get your very high SAT score, presumably, but I think they're just going to weight it a little less. So I think that's going to be the takeaway for you. And the biggest reason is because now the SAT is just a worse test in terms of reading. It's just not a good test in terms of, it's not, as far as I can tell. I mean, I'm going to give a more refined opinion about this after I take a practice test, but it has to be a worse test in terms of reading. I cannot see how it could be a better test in terms of reading. it's hard for me to imagine that. So, guys, that's my overall opinion on this. It's a long time just researching through all of this, but if you just dropped in to say hi, thanks. And I'll see you in the next one where I take the real practice test. Until then, keep on learning, keep on growing. Peace.